Section 1. The Dawn of American Gold, the Coinage Act of 1792. The story of American gold coins begins with the birth of the United States itself. After the Revolutionary War, the young nation needed its own money. Before this, people used a mix of foreign coins, like Spanish dollars and British pounds. This was confusing and made trade difficult. The Founding Fathers knew that a national currency would unite the country and show the world that America was a strong, independent nation. They believed that having our own coins made from precious metals like gold and silver was a matter of national pride and economic necessity. This led to one of the most important financial decisions in our history. The foundation for all American money was laid with the Coinage Act of 1792. This landmark piece of legislation was signed into law by President George Washington. It established the United States Mint in Philadelphia, the first federal building erected under the Constitution. The act also created our decimal system of currency, with the dollar as the basic unit. Importantly, it authorized the striking of gold coins. The law specified that gold coins would be made in 3 denominations: the $10 eagle, the $5 half eagle, and the $2.50 quarter eagle. These names, based on our national bird, added a patriotic touch to the new currency. The Act of 1792 established a bimetallic standard. This meant that the value of the US dollar was legally defined in terms of both gold and silver. The law set a specific ratio of 15 units of silver to 1 unit of gold. This was a tricky balancing act. If the market price of gold or silver changed elsewhere in the world, one of the metals would become more valuable as bullion than as coins. This would cause people to melt down the undervalued coins or sell them overseas. This very issue would challenge the US monetary system for many decades to come, leading to several adjustments in the weight and composition of our nation's coinage. It took a few years for the new US Mint to begin producing gold coins. The first challenge was simply getting enough gold bullion to start minting. The mint had to rely on private citizens and banks to deposit gold from various sources, including foreign coins and raw nuggets. Finally, in 1795, the first American gold coins were struck. These were the half eagles, followed shortly by the eagles. The quarter eagles would not appear until the following year, 1796. The arrival of these shiny new coins marked a major milestone. For the first time, Americans had their own gold money, a tangible symbol of their new nation's wealth and sovereignty. Section 2. The First Eagles, Early Gold Coinage, 1795 to 1834. The first gold coins produced by the U.S. Mint are treasured by collectors today for their history and simple beauty. These early coins are known as the turban head or capped bust series. The obverse, or head side, featured a symbolic image of liberty. She was shown with flowing hair, wearing a soft cap that some people thought looked like a turban, which is how the coin got its nickname. This design, created by chief engraver Robert Scott, was meant to represent freedom. On the reverse, the earliest coins from 1795 to 1797 featured a small, naturalistic eagle perched on a branch holding a wreath in its beak. This design is often called the small eagle reverse. In 1796, a new law required that the reverse of gold and silver coins feature a version of the Great Seal of the United States. This led to a design change for the gold coins. The small graceful eagle was replaced by a larger, more formal, heraldic eagle. This design showed a powerful eagle with a shield on its chest, holding arrows, and an olive branch in its talons. A banner in its beak reads a pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. This new reverse appeared on the eagle starting in 1797, the half eagle in 1798, and the quarter eagle from its first issue in 1796. This heraldic eagle design would remain on American gold for the next decade. One interesting fact about these early gold coins is the absence of a mark of value. The $10, $5, and $2.50 coins did not have their denomination stamped on them. People were expected to know their value based on their size and weight. This seems strange to us today, but at the time, the value of a coin was directly tied to the precious metal it contained. If you knew it was a US gold coin, you could tell its value by its size. It wasn't until 1807 that the denomination, 5D, was added to the half eagle, and other denominations followed over time, making the coins easier for the public to use. The production of these early gold coins was often inconsistent. The US Mint struggled with a fluctuating supply of gold bullion. Furthermore, the official 15-to-1 silver-to-gold ratio was out of sync with the European market, which was closer to 15.5 to 1. This made American gold coins more valuable overseas as raw metal than as currency at home. As a result, many were melted down or exported. Seeing this, President Thomas Jefferson halted the production of the $10 eagle in 1804 to prevent them from leaving the country. No more eagles were minted for more than 30 years, making the early examples quite rare today. Section 3. A New Standard. The Classic Head and Liberty Head Era, 1834 to 1907. The year 1834 marked a major turning point for American gold coinage. To combat the problem of gold coins being melted down and exported, Congress passed a new Coinage Act. This act slightly reduced the amount of gold in the coins, changing the silver-to-gold ratio to about 16 to 1. This made the coins' face value align better with their metal value, ensuring they would stay in circulation within the United States. To signify this change, a new design was introduced. This was the Classic Head, designed by William Neese. It featured a more modern-looking Liberty, with her hair tied in a ribbon, and it removed the cap from the previous design. The Classic Head design was used on the Quarter Eagle and Half Eagle for only a few years, from 1834 to 1839. It was a transitional design that paved the way for one of the most enduring motifs in American coinage history, the Liberty Head. Designed by Christian Gobrecht, the Liberty Head, or Coronet Head, first appeared in 1838. This design featured a classical bust of Liberty facing left, her hair in a coronet or tiara inscribed with the word Liberty. This design was so popular and practical that it would be used, with some minor modifications, for nearly 70 years on multiple denominations. The Liberty Head design graced every denomination of gold coin produced during its long tenure. It was used on the Quarter Eagle, $2.50, and Half Eagle, $5, starting in 1839 and 1840. It also appeared on the Eagle, $10, starting in 1838. Later, when new denominations were introduced due to the California Gold Rush, they too featured the Liberty Head design. These included the Gold Dollar and the massive Double Eagle, $20. For generations of Americans throughout the 19th century, the image of the Coronet Liberty Head was the very definition of a gold coin. Over its long life, the Liberty Head design saw a few changes. The most significant came in 1866 after the Civil War. As a reflection of the nation's renewed religious sentiment, the motto, "In God We Trust," was added to the reverse of the Half Eagle, Eagle, and Double Eagle. This addition created two distinct varieties for collectors, the no motto type, minted before 1866, and the with motto type, minted from 1866 onward. This long-running series offers a vast and fascinating field for collectors, with many different dates, mint marks, and varieties to pursue from a truly transformative period in American history. Section 4. The California Gold Rush and its impact. The discovery of gold at Sutter's Mill in California in 1848 changed everything. The resulting California Gold Rush brought a massive flood of the precious metal into the American economy. Before this time, the U.S. mint supply of gold was limited. Suddenly, the nation had a huge new source. This enormous influx of gold made it necessary to create new ways to turn it into money. Congress responded by authorizing two completely new denominations of gold coins, one very small and one very large, to help manage this newfound wealth and facilitate commerce on a grander scale. The first new coin was the gold dollar, authorized in 1849. This was the smallest U.S. coin ever produced in diameter. It was created because the flood of gold had driven the price of silver up, causing silver coins to be hoarded. A small gold coin was needed to take the place of silver dollars in everyday transactions. The gold dollar was tiny, at only 13 millimeters across, and easily lost. It featured the Liberty Head design, just like the larger gold coins of the era. 3 different types of gold dollars were made between 1849 and 1889, with changes made to the design to make it slightly larger and easier to handle. On the other end of the spectrum, Congress also authorized the magnificent Double Eagle knife, or $20 gold piece, in 1849. This large, heavy coin was created to more efficiently convert the massive quantities of gold from California's mines into coinage. It was easier for the mint to strike one $20 coin than 2 $10 eagles or 8 $2.50 quarter eagles. These coins were not intended for paying for groceries. They were primarily used for large domestic business transactions, international trade, and as reserves in bank vaults. The double eagle, also featuring the Liberty head design, quickly became a workhorse of the American financial system. The gold rush also led to the establishment of new branch mints to process the gold closer to its source. Mints were opened in San Francisco in 1854, Denver in 1862, though it didn't strike coins until 1906, and Carson City in 1870. Coins from these mints have a small letter, or mint mark, indicating where they were made. For example, an S stands for San Francisco and CC for Carson City. These mint marks add another layer of interest for collectors. Coins from the short-lived Carson City Mint, which operated during the Wild West era, are particularly popular and carry a special mystique. As the 19th century gave way to the 20th, there was this growing feeling that American coinage was, frankly, a bit boring. The Liberty head design had been in use for over 60 years, and, well, it was starting to feel a little stale. President Theodore Roosevelt, a man of great energy and artistic taste, believed that the nation's money should be beautiful and reflect America's growing power and cultural sophistication. He actually called the existing coins artistically of atrocious hideousness. In 1905, Roosevelt personally commissioned the renowned sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens to undertake a complete redesign of the nation's gold coinage, ushering in an era often called the American Renaissance of coin design. The collaboration between Roosevelt and St. Gaudens resulted in what many consider the most beautiful coins ever minted by the United States. St. Gaudens created two masterpieces. For the $20 double eagle, he designed a powerful image of liberty striding forward, holding a torch and an olive branch, with the U.S. Capitol building in the background. The reverse featured a majestic eagle in flight. For the $10 eagle, he created a stunning profile of liberty wearing a Native American war bonnet, with a proud standing eagle on the reverse. These designs were a radical departure from the static, classical portraits of the past. The first St. Gaudens double eagles were struck in 1907 in very high relief, meaning the design was deeply impressed and almost three-dimensional. While breathtakingly beautiful, these high-relief coins were not practical for mass production, since each one required multiple strikes from the presses. The design was soon modified to a lower relief for circulation. President Roosevelt also had a famous disagreement with the mint over the motto, "In God We Trust." He believed it was blasphemous to put the name of God on money that could be used for immoral purposes, so the motto was initially omitted from the new designs, only to be restored by an act of Congress in 1908. Following the success of the St. Gaudens coins, the remaining gold denominations were also redesigned. Boston sculptor Bella Lyon Pratt created a unique and innovative design for the half eagle, $5, and quarter eagle, $2.50, in 1908. Unlike all previous U.S. coins which had raised designs, Pratt's coins featured an incuse design. This means the details, including the portrait of a Native American chief and the standing eagle on the reverse, were sunken into the coin's surface rather than raised above it. This was a bold experiment, and these Indian head gold pieces remain some of the most distinctive and widely collected classic American coins. The era of beautiful gold coinage, and indeed the circulation of gold coins in America, came to an abrupt and dramatic end in the 1930s. The country was in the depths of the Great Depression, which was, honestly, the worst economic crisis in its history. Banks were failing left and right, and people were hoarding gold since they trusted it more than paper money or bank accounts. This hoarding, well, it drained the nation's gold reserves, which were really needed to back the currency and stabilize the banking system. President Franklin D. Roosevelt took office in 1933 and immediately implemented some pretty drastic measures to combat the Depression. On April 5, 1933, President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102. This order forbade the hoarding of gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates within the continental United States. It required all Americans to turn in their gold coins and gold certificates to the Federal Reserve in exchange for paper money at the prevailing rate of $20.67 per ounce. There were a few exceptions though: dentists, jewelers, and collectors of rare and unusual coins. This last exception is what actually saved many historic coins from the melting pot, even though the definition of rare and unusual was, let's say, not clearly defined at the time. The government's goal here was really to take control of the national gold supply. After the recall, with the gold safely in government vaults, most famously at Fort Knox, President Roosevelt raised the official price of gold to $35 per ounce in 1934. This devalued the dollar, which helped to stimulate the economy by making American goods cheaper overseas. However, it also meant that anyone who had held onto their gold coins illegally had made a significant profit overnight. The recall effectively ended the use of gold as circulating currency in the United States, a role it had played for nearly 140 years. As a result of the recall, the U.S. Mint ceased all production of gold coins for circulation. The last circulating gold coins were struck in 1933. While the Mint had produced hundreds of thousands of 1933 double eagles, they were never officially released to the public. The government ordered them all to be melted down. The great American tradition of carrying a gold quarter eagle or half eagle in one's pocket was, well, over. Gold coins were transformed from everyday money into historical artifacts and collector's items, relics of a bygone era of American finance. Among the millions of gold coins struck throughout American history, a few really stand out as legends. These coins are famous for their extreme rarity, fascinating stories, and honestly, astronomical values. Perhaps the most famous of all is the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle. Although the Mint struck 445,500 of these coins, they were never officially issued due to the gold recall. They were ordered to be melted, but a small number, maybe around 20, escaped the Mint. For decades, the government considered these coins to be stolen property and seized them whenever they were found. The story of the 1933 double eagle is kind of like a Hollywood thriller. One specimen fell into the hands of King Farouk of Egypt, who was a famous collector. After his overthrow, it disappeared for decades before resurfacing in New York in 1996, where it was seized by the Secret Service. After a lengthy legal battle, a unique agreement was reached. The coin was declared legal to own, and it was sold at auction in 2002 for a staggering $7.59 million. A portion of the proceeds went to the U.S. government. In 2021, this very same coin sold again for an incredible $18.9 million, making it the most valuable coin in the world. Another legendary rarity is the 1849 double eagle. While the law authorizing the $20 gold piece was passed in 1849, full production did not begin until 1850. In 1849, the Mint created a single pattern coin to test the dies. This coin was never meant to circulate. It was sent to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., where it remains today as part of the National Numismatic Collection. As the very first double eagle ever created, and with only one known to exist, it is considered priceless. It's a unique piece of American history, representing the start of a new chapter in coinage born from the California gold rush. Other gold coins are rare and valuable for different reasons. The 1822 half eagle is one such example. The Mint recorded a production of 17,796 of these coins, but today, only 3 are known to survive. It's believed that most were melted down in the 1830s after the gold content of the coins was changed. 2 of the 3 survivors are now in the Smithsonian. The third specimen, which is held in private hands, sold for $8.4 million in 2021. The stories behind these coins, the lucky survivals, the mysterious disappearances, and the legal battles, well, they add to their allure and make them the crown jewels of American numismatics. For much of our nation's history, gold coins were not just for collectors or bank vaults, they were really an integral part of American life. In the 18th and 19th centuries, they represented real, tangible wealth. Paper money was often issued by private banks, and could be unreliable, but a gold coin's value was inherent in the metal it contained. This made gold the preferred currency for large purchases, land deals, and settling significant debts. A farmer selling his harvest, or a merchant closing a major deal, would expect to be paid in gold coin. It was the ultimate symbol of financial security and trust. The different denominations of gold coins served different purposes. The small gold dollar and quarter eagle, $2.50, were useful for higher-end daily commerce, maybe to pay a skilled laborer for a week's work, or to buy a nice suit of clothes. The half eagle, $5, and eagle, $10, were the workhorses of the gold economy. A $10 eagle in the mid-19th century was a substantial amount of money, honestly, more than a week's wages for many workers. These coins were commonly used to make payroll, pay rent, or make significant purchases. They moved through every level of the economy, from the general store to the big city bank. The massive double eagle, $20, played a different role. Because of its high value, it was less common in pocket change. Its primary function was as a tool of high finance. Banks used double eagles to settle accounts with each other and to back the paper money they issued. They were also crucial for international trade, as American merchants used them to pay for goods overseas. On the frontier, during the Wild West era, a heavy pouch of double eagles was the standard for any major transaction, whether it was buying a ranch or capitalizing a new mining venture. These coins literally fueled the westward expansion of the United States. The presence of gold coins in daily life also had a deep psychological impact on Americans. It fostered a sense of confidence in the nation's currency and economy. The weight of a gold coin in one's hand was a physical assurance of value. This connection to hard money shaped American attitudes about wealth, savings, and debt for generations. When the government recalled gold in 1933, it was more than just a policy change. It was the end of a cultural era. The transition to a currency not directly backed by circulating gold was a profound shift in how Americans related to their money. After the gold recall of 1933, American gold coins transitioned from being money to being collector's items. Today they are no longer used in commerce, but they're actually more popular than ever among hobbyists, historians, and investors. Collecting American gold coins is a window into the nation's past. Each coin tells a story about the era in which it was made, from the struggles of the early republic to the boom of the gold rush, and the artistic ambitions of the early 20th century. Collectors known as numismatists appreciate these coins for their beauty, rarity, and historical significance. The value of a collectible gold coin is determined by several factors. The first is its bullion value, which is just the basic worth of the gold it contains, based on the current market price of gold. However, for a collector's coin, this is really just the starting point. The coin's numismatic value is often much higher. This value is based on its rarity, how many were minted and how many have survived, its condition or grade, how much wear it shows, its mint mark, where it was made, and overall collector demand. A common date Liberty Head double eagle in worn condition might be worth only slightly more than its gold content, while a rare date in pristine condition can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. For those interested in starting a collection, there are many paths to take. Some people choose to build a typeset, which involves acquiring one example of each major design type, such as a turban head, a Liberty head, and a St. Gaudens. Others might focus on a specific denomination, like collecting quarter eagles from every date and mint mark they were produced. Still others might specialize in coins from a particular mint, like the popular CC mint mark coins from Carson City. The beauty of the hobby is that you can set your own goals based on your interests and budget. In 1986, the U.S. Mint revived the tradition of producing gold coins, but with a modern twist. It began striking the American Gold Eagle series of bullion coins. These coins are intended for investors, not for circulation, and their value is tied directly to the price of gold. While they are legal tender, their face values, like $50 for a 1-ounce coin, are symbolic and much lower than their actual bullion value. These modern gold eagles carry on the legacy of American gold, featuring a modified St. Gaudens Liberty design on the obverse, connecting the present day to the golden age of American coinage.